Right now, with a competitive midterms race, how poll workers are preparing to keep voters safe this Tuesday. Plus, a body found in La Crosse Park, what we know this morning.
And we have an alert day in the forecast for strong winds and including rainfall. Break down how strong those winds will get and when actually the drier conditions will come in.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us on Weekend Mornings. I'm Shane Hogan. That's Greg Barnhart. Greg, got a ton of rain yesterday, still raining out right now, and you've got an alert day in the forecast. What's today looking like? Today's
going to be a little wet, but windy more or less. The wind's going to be the bigger story, but still wet conditions. So right now, the strongest winds are really for south central, southeastern Wisconsin, especially you go towards Milwaukee. That's where you could see wind gusts 45 to 50. Other areas will see stronger winds, but you can start seeing the winds creeping up towards Janesville, Monroe, and to the east. That's just the start of it. To the north of La Crosse, will be more northeast, northwest on the other side of the low. So we'll have stronger winds, but not quite that is what they'll see. And there's your wind advisories till 10. Wind warnings, you go towards Milwaukee till 9. So that's the main story. We're seeing bands of showers and maybe even a thunderstorm pushing up. You can see the low that's pushing up into Iowa. So we're having some breaks in it for mainly Madison eastward, but that'll fill in a little bit. And then we'll see additional showers this afternoon. As you zoom in, you can see some of the bands really now further to the west from basically Richland County all the way up to La Crosse is kind of the focus of that. But there'll still be showers, and there's one line to watch for coming through 10 a.m. That could be with the front. That could be a little bit of a thunder in there coming through Madison about 10 a.m. There are some visibility just because with the rainfall overall. As we look ahead, like I said, right now 61 degrees, fairly warm because we're in the warm side yet. We'll cool off to the 50s with the winds. You see 23 miles per hour. La Crosse will be on the north side, so it'll be cooler with northwest winds, but they'll also see the temperatures kind of barely hang on to the 40s. There's your bigger picture of what's going on. There is drier conditions coming through as you see out west. I'll break down when we'll see those dry conditions and actually how mild it might get later this week.
All right, Greg, we'll check back in just a little bit. Thank you very much. Well, with just days until Tuesday's midterm election, county officials are busy with final poll preparations. As McKenna Alexander explains, security makes up a large part of those plans.
With just over 3 days until the midterm election, campaigns are in full swing.
The campaigns are going everywhere, knocking on doors. I don't know about you, but they've come to my door twice. So, you know, that's indicative of a very competitive race. I think we're going to see really high turnout. But I think in Dane County, we could be, 80%.
The likelihood of a highly competitive race has county election officials preparing for every possibility on Election Day, including potential threats to polling locations.
And we've also done some security improvements here in our offices, in the city clerk's office. We've done de-escalation and active shooter training with all the clerks. And that, was something they requested because they're worried they're going to deal with someone angry that is kind of hard to deal with.
Along with increased training and added security improvements, the Dane County Clerk's Office has also upped its coordination with local law enforcement.
We've done a pocket guide for law enforcement so they know what the laws are, but to really reinforce that the chief inspector at the polls is the one who's in charge. We've really tried to improve communication, so if something's going on, we all know about it right away.
McDonald says law enforcement will mostly be working in the background so as not to distract voters. Still, that added level of security will be close by if needed.
We really don't want uniformed officers in the polls or nearby if you can avoid it, but they'll check in, like in the rural areas, the response time can be a little, depending on where they are, it can be a little long. So yeah, they'll check in there. They won't be standing right by the lines to go in or anything like that.
Finally, McDonald urges the public to be patient with results, as the ballot counting process may take a bit longer than normal, given this year's predicted voter turnout.
For information on voter registration, polling locations, and much more, you can head over to myvote.wi.gov. We also have a complete voter guide up on channel3000.com as well. And on the campaign trail, Democratic Senator Bernie Sanders stopped at the Orpheum Theater last night in Madison, encouraging young people to get out and vote. It was part of a nationwide Our Future Is Now tour. Sanders says he's concerned younger people aren't coming out in large enough numbers, but what Congress decides in terms of women's rights, climate, and more affects them the most.
I understand that a midterm election is not as sexy as a presidential election. Which party controls the United States Senate will mean the future of this country and the future of your lives.
The Our Future Is Now tour also stopped in Eau Claire and La Crosse on Friday. Actor LeVar Burton also in Madison Friday, hitting the campaign trail with Democratic Senate candidate Mandela Barnes and Senator Tammy Baldwin at Gray's Restaurant. They spoke about why voting in Tuesday's election is more important than ever. Burton also commended Barnes for rising to high political office.
I love this country with all of my heart and soul. And it does me proud to see men like Mandela Barnes rising to high office in states like Wisconsin. This man deserves to be a United States Senator.
Burton also discussed how much he disliked Senator Ron Johnson for his views on race and COVID. And here on News 3 Now, voters, politicians, expert reporters, and some of the state's most recognizable figures are joining us tonight. Among them, former Governor Jim Doyle, weighing in on today's political environment.
You know, we live in a democracy. Democracies are big, they're loud, they're not intended to be polite. They are intended to be a time when people with very strong differing opinions bring them forward, and then we have the election and we see who wins. Never very pleasant in my...
He reflects on a time when different political parties would take split results in statewide races and when truly undecided voters were far more common. You can expect all that and much more tonight at 7 p.m. with Eric Franke and Naomi Coles. In the run-up to the election, a Milwaukee election official now faces charges for illegally requesting absentee ballots. The deputy director for Milwaukee's Election Commission, Kimberly Zapata, used the state's public-facing website to request special military absentee ballots. Those were sent to a state rep who turned them in so they were not cast. But even though they were sent out, Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Megan Wolf says there are other safeguards before an illegally requested ballot would be counted, and she's confident those would have caught these ballots. Wolf added these type of military ballots are incredibly rare here in Wisconsin. Zapata now faces 4 criminal charges, including felony of conduct in office. She could face up to 5 years in prison and $13,000 fine for all counts.
But I do feel confident in this particular instance that our local election officials would have identified it prior to that point or that opportunity for a ballot to be returned. But if a ballot was returned, that's another opportunity for the local election official to follow up on that information, to make any verifications that they think are appropriate.
Again, Zapata now faces 4 criminal charges in this case. Back in July of last year, a Dodgeville woman was found dead in her home. Her death was ruled the result of carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, 16 months later, her son and grandson are accused of murdering her. 51-year-old Eric Way and 28-year-old Philip Schmidt Way are both charged with first-degree intentional homicide. According to the criminal complaint, the grandson was set to inherit the family farm, but the woman decided to sell it instead. Authorities became suspicious when they couldn't find any obvious source for the elevated levels of gas in the house. They figured out the son bought products that create carbon monoxide before the woman died. The grandson's vehicle was also caught on camera at the woman's home the night of her death. Police are investigating after officers found a body Friday morning in Cameron Park in downtown La Crosse. News 8 Now's Juris Rauer was at Cameron Park with what we know so far.
La Crosse police officers responded to a welfare check. A dead woman was found in Cameron Park.
Police say there are no safety concerns, but as you can see, this is a high-traffic area. Right behind me are apartments. There is a school right there, and down the street is downtown Main Street, and across from where the body was actually found is a grocery store. So, as you can see, members of La Crosse's community frequent this street very often.
The school district of La Crosse's Polytechnic School is 1 block away from where the body was recovered. Superintendent Aaron Engel told News 8 in a statement the district is working with the police department and will utilize our safety plans and respond with the advice of law enforcement to ensure students and staff are safe. Community members say they're concerned more incidents like this will occur.
I won't say that it hasn't been ever reported in the past that fatalities have occurred in that area, but we want to do our best to stay safe. Safety first.
Last year, one unsheltered person died at Huska Park. On Monday, Huska Park's campground permit expired. This year, no hotel vouchers were given to individuals.
If they're able to be off the streets or the park or whatever, I think that would help mitigate some problems.
The city's homeless service coordinator, Brian Sampson, previously told News 8 people should expect to see an increase of unsheltered people in public and private spaces. In the meantime, community members say this death is a reminder that a solution for La Crosse's homeless crisis is necessary.
This is just a little bit shaky to hear. Yeah, it's really sad, but I mean, I think more people should know about these things because it is important that people are aware of what's going on in their community.
Police have confirmed that the woman visited the park frequently, and they say that this is an ongoing investigation. Reporting in Cameron Park, the WISC-TV, News 8 Now.
Again, this is still a developing story out of La Crosse. We will update you when we have more information. Well, still ahead this morning, how to avoid seasonal affective disorder. And you're taking a live look outside. Traffic, nothing to worry about right now, but be careful. Roads are slick after all that rain yesterday. Greg is back tracking the rain chances for today after this.
News 3 Now, election night coverage, Tuesday, November 8th.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. Attention all women who have been diagnosed with ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one used talcum powder for routine feminine hygiene and later suffered from ovarian cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. The use of talc-based powders has been linked to ovarian cancer. Call right now.
Call 1-800-982-8758.
Wisconsin is a home of workers. We know what needs to get done, and we do it. Yet, we've been hit hard, some harder than others. Our contact may be limited, but we still can lift each other up. The Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy providers are working together to help keep your heat and power on. You may not ask for it, but we want you to know we're here.
Hi, this is Lisa from 4Imprint. Yes. I'd like 50 welcome wows, 300 customer I love it, and 200 team member oh yes. Certainly. You know we got some brand new woohoos.
Dial up the wow factor with promotional products from 4Imprint. We specialize in awesome items that are certain to awe and guaranteed to deliver some ooh yes. From apparel, backpacks, drinkware to high-tech items.
Wow. I love it. Woohoo!
Go to 4imprint.com and find some wow now. 4Imprint, for certain.
Think crime is bad now? Mandela Barnes would make it worse. Barnes would eliminate cash bail even after the Waukesha Christmas parade attack, supports amnesty and sanctuary cities for illegals, and had worked for a radical group that wants to defund the police. Barnes has a long record of smearing police while spending your tax dollars on security for himself. Mandela Barnes, wrong on crime, dangerous for Wisconsin. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Yeah, once we get past the wet conditions today, we're actually going to get into more mild conditions. You can see overall the winds aloft more from the west after we get past this day. So the cold air is still going to be locked to the north through the week. So we're actually going to start seeing this dive south, and then by the midweek, we're going to start getting southwesterly winds again, which should pull up warmer conditions toward midweek. So we still got another week about mild conditions. May not quite be the 70s, but Wednesday, Thursday could be quite warm, and then we'll cool off by next weekend, probably back into the 30s. But overall, we're seeing this low continuing to push northeast. The cold front will precede it going through, so that'll kind of clear out this rain chances, really, most of them, but it will increase the winds. That'll lift more north to this evening, and we'll start clearing out. We have a weak little system coming from the west. It'll spread some cloud cover overnight, but that's going to lift north. Not going to do much in the way of rain chances, but breezy conditions tomorrow. But at tail end, early Sunday is going to be the far better day, and then Monday we'll start getting into just generally good conditions for most of the week. As we zoom in and see precip chances, we can see that one wave comes across to this afternoon. Then we start getting the winds in the backside of this. There's going to be strong winds ahead of it, and then further to west to La Crosse, you got kind of the wraparound from this low that kind of spreads southwestward. That precipitation will push eastward this afternoon through western areas. It'll probably fall apart as you get closer to south central Wisconsin, but that'll be the last round really of shower activity this afternoon. The winds will start to die down, but it won't be until really this evening that we'll see winds. Overnight temperatures will drop back in the 40s to low 30s, upper 30s. We have cloud cover increase. You see that little system pushes north tomorrow. Won't provide much other than cloud cover. It'll increase the winds tomorrow, but we'll still get up into the 50s for most areas, which once again is about 5 to 10 degrees above average. So mild conditions still for Sunday. So overall, not a bad day to end the work week, and then going into Monday looks pretty nice too. So as we look at the winds, that's going to be the big story today, and they're already starting to increase. You got 40 plus gusts near Chicago getting up there. That's going to spread north behind this low, and that's going to be the one story to think of for southeastern Wisconsin. Not much for everyone else. You'll see breezy conditions. You can see the winds start to pick up with that little system that we're expecting tomorrow, but nothing like we'll see today in south central and southwestern Wisconsin. Rainfall, additional rainfall, it's going to be centered kind of in that back edge of the low right there. Quarter to maybe 3/4 of an inch, and then spotty here because we're just not going to see a lot of shower activity this afternoon, so we'll pick up maybe a 1/4 inch in certain areas, but once again the wind will be the bigger story for these areas that we saw. So as you look at the 10-day right now, once we get past today, Sunday is not bad. We're going to start improving. We could get up to the mid-60s by Wednesday. Warm front pushes north before we get a cold front at the end of the week. So election day looks good. Same story for La Crosse too. That should come in maybe upper 60s by Wednesday, so it's going to be a short burst of warm air. They only have a very good cold front coming through, and it looks like we're going to come back to reality next weekend that we are in November. Mid to upper 30s, November, back to where we should be. So, you know, election day looks good. Don't forget about the clock tonight. And Veterans Day looks much colder, but overall not much stuff going on. But yeah, we're going to, by next weekend, it'll be a total different story, I think.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun. An important reminder that got to change your clocks tonight.
Yeah, tonight
Get an extra hour of sleep, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's
true. Always the good news. All right, Greg, we'll check back in a little bit. Thank you very much. Well, the days are getting shorter and temps are dropping. Health experts say many start feeling down because of seasonal affective disorder. Symptoms include feeling more tired or sad, wanting to isolate and stay away from friends and family, and either under-eating or overeating. Gunderson mental health experts say even if you felt like this in the past, it's still a good idea to try to slow those symptoms before they start.
The important thing is that we don't have to feel down and depressed and kind of like we want to withdraw, we want to retreat. Some folks might just be kind of used to that, but they don't have to experience that.
If you feel like you have symptoms as the season changes, Harris recommends getting in touch with your primary care provider and building a game plan to handle the darker months of the year. She also recommends making sure you get as much sunlight and fresh air as possible and keeping fresh foods in your diet. Crucifixion School in La Crescent is gearing up for its 44th annual roast beef dinner tonight. People of all ages can enjoy freshly baked pies and roast beef. Organizers expect over 1,000 guests. Proceeds from the dinner will support the school, and organizers say the dinner is a community effort.
There's a lot of preparation that goes into the roast beef dinner. We rely heavily on volunteers, as you can see in the background, to make this successful.
The dinner begins at 3:30 later today with both dine-in and takeout options. For more information, including ticket prices, head over to news8000.com. Well, coming up later in the show, a stunning Wisconsin murder case is getting national attention. We have a preview of tonight's 48 Hours. And there are several new shows and movies to check out this weekend. Will Loper shares his 3 things to watch when we get back.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units, all units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman, and said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
It's time to bust out your favorite flannel and join us at Flannel Fest, an evening of music to benefit the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund, Saturday, November 5th at Funk's Pub in Fitchburg, featuring the Four on the Floor, The Mascot Theory, Beth Killy Band, Bascom Hill, and Natural Satellite. Tickets and info available at flannelfest.com. Flannel Fest, benefiting the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. If you have or are eligible for Medicaid, please listen closely. You may be eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan from WellCare with a zero or low plan premium. Call now. We can answer your questions and help you enroll over the phone. WellCare provides access to essential benefits that go beyond original Medicare, such as dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage with free home delivery, free over-the-counter healthcare items, free groceries with a healthy food card, free gym membership, and home-delivered meals. Plus, extra benefits like more access to care with free transportation and WellCare's telehealth services, including online doctor visits. WellCare is contracted with Medicare to provide plans that may be perfect for you. Call 1-844-682-9370. Now, that's 1-844-682-9370. WellCare, Medicare done well.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now.
Call 1-800-336-0524.
For Clinton Anderson, our community is his top priority. He's delivered for middle-class families on the Beloit City Council, and he'll keep fighting to lower costs for us in the Assembly. Jeff Klett's priorities are all wrong. He supports dismantling our public schools, wants to slash community services to give tax breaks to his billionaire backers, and he'll vote with extreme Republicans to enforce Wisconsin's abortion ban, which could send doctors to prison. We can't afford Jeff Klett.
We didn't forget about the crumbs at the bottom of the bag. We're just prolonging our time with every last bit of crispy, juicy tender.
Enjoy the crispy chicken sandwich and pair it with medium fries and a $1 any size Diet Dr. Pepper.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, today really the big story is going to be the winds, especially for south central, southeastern Wisconsin as the cold front swings through. So 45 gusts, could even be stronger. We're seeing the gust in northeast Illinois. Showers today, but drier tomorrow. Steady temperatures falling in the 40s, but really mild conditions through Wednesday. It's not going to cool off that much. For La Crosse, it's more northeast winds on the upside of the low. Showers off and on. For Madison, that's where the stronger winds will be. 20 to 25, could be gusting much higher. On and off showers, but they'll see less rainfall than what La Crosse will get. Radar kind of indicates the band's coming up. The cold front really is now in northern Illinois. That'll swing up here later this morning. Otherwise, we zoom in. You can see more of the bands are from Richland County up to La Crosse. And then further east, it's more spotty, but that's where the winds really are going to be the factor. And Futurecast shows that line pushing up about 10 through Madison. Otherwise, spotty showers, and then that wraparound to the west is what's going to push east this afternoon through the area too. So that'll be the showers expected today. So overall, as we see, be advised if you're on east to west routes today with the winds, especially in that areas, for some pretty good crosswinds to deal with.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. We'll check back in just a little bit. Well, there's clearly no shortage of films and shows streaming nowadays. Our Will Loper is sharing a few of the best in this weekend's 3 Things to Watch.
Hey, look, if it get dark now, you just ride it, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Newly streaming on Apple TV Plus is the film Causeway.
All right. What's dark?
Being back here.
You don't got love for this city?
Jennifer Lawrence plays Lindsay, a soldier adjusting to life after suffering a traumatic brain injury.
It's not the city.
You don't
Causeway is streaming on Apple TV Plus now.
Victim's name is Leo Kopernik, sir. Seems he was killed in the costume store. And then he was deposited here. Staged, so to speak.
New to rent or buy on digital platforms is the film See How They Run.
There was an incident.
I'll kill you.
It's as good as a confession.
Let's not jump to conclusions, Constable.
Sam Rockwell plays a detective investigating a murder of a crew member of Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap.
We have a serial killer on the loose.
Please, stand back.
He keeps the key. Under the mat.
See How They Run is available to rent or buy on video-on-demand platforms now.
I'm doing it again, aren't I, sir? Jumping to conclusions.
A little bit.
Is it true you find lost people?
Yes.
My sister. She disappeared a week ago.
And if that's not enough mystery for you, newly streaming on Netflix is the film Enola Holmes 2.
Oh, well, you're a girl. Tell me.
Yes.
Might your brother be free?
Millie Bobby Brown returns as the younger sister of Sherlock Holmes, who has opened her own detective agency and works to solve the case of a missing sister.
Are you involved in something dangerous?
Good afternoon.
You can't control Enola Holmes. She's a force of nature.
Enola Holmes 2 is streaming on Netflix now.
You.
Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
Well, coming up next this morning, several tornadoes touching down across the U.S., how those communities are responding this morning.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Hi, this is Lisa from 4Imprint. Yes, I'd like 50 welcome wows, 300 customer I love it, and 200 team member oh yes, certainly. You know we got some brand new woohoos.
Dial up the wow factor with promotional products from 4Imprint. We specialize in awesome items that are certain to awe and guaranteed to deliver some ooh yes. From apparel, backpacks, drinkware to high-tech items.
Wow.
I love it. Woohoo!
Go to 4imprint.com and find some wow now. 4Imprint, for certain.
As falling leaves give way to snow, Midwestern winters bring rough weather and high energy bills. Feldco's here to help with our biggest sale of the season. 50% off windows, no money down, and no interest until 2024. Winter's right around the corner, and the clock is ticking.
50% off windows and soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
I see your hard work, everything you do to try to make it, but people continue to be left behind. I'm running for Senate to put more money in your pocket. Ron Johnson's had 12 years to make things better, but costs are still rising, and all he's managed to do is write a tax cut for himself. I believe better is possible. I believe hard work can pay off, and I'll never stop fighting until it does. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife, Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
The upcoming holidays are hectic enough without having to worry about appliances breaking down. Family-owned Brothers Maine is having a Veterans Day sale featuring kitchen and laundry deals on GE appliances. The lowest prices guaranteed. Feel like family. Brothers Maine.
Right now, more than a dozen tornadoes touching down across the U.S. How much damage was done in several communities? Also, a memorable and stunning murder case from Wisconsin is getting the national spotlight.
And most areas picked up beneficial rainfall the last 24 hours. Showers will continue for some areas today, along with an increase in the winds. I'll break down when the rain will end and how strong those winds will get.
Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us on this Saturday and joining us here on Weekend Mornings. I'm Shane Hogan. Before we get to our top stories, though, we're going to get a check on the weather with Greg. Greg, we got a lot of rain yesterday. You still have an alert day, but you're really keeping an eye on those wind gusts today.
Yeah, the cold front's going to be coming up this morning. That's really what the winds are going to be associated with. But we still got rainfall so the 24 hours, we had quite a bit of substantial rainfall. Actually got some verified reports of 3 inches in Jefferson County. It kind of tails off to get west of La Crosse, but those areas are really going to see the rain more today behind the low than the areas to the east here will see it. So, but right, you said, like, the winds are going to be the main issue. The low pretty much is down to the south. The cold front is swinging up towards northern Illinois, and that's where the winds really are going to be the main issue to deal with. As we zoom in, bands have kind of pushed back to the west. La Crosse to Rochester really is going to be the area for that. But we have some bands continuing to push up the southwest. More spotty nature as you go further east towards Madison and to Milwaukee. But that's where the wind's going to be. And you can see Futurecast shows that front coming swinging up. So about 10 a.m. it should come through Dane County and then swing up. Behind it, really is not going to be a few showers, but it'll be really the winds. Further La Crosse will have a break, but then you have this wraparound extends down into Iowa. That'll begin to push eastward later today, so we'll see more rain coming back into the forecast. So alert day for the winds, that's the big issue that we got going on right now. That the winds are starting to pick up out of southeast Wisconsin. They'll expand further in today. So we do have a wind advisory for effect for these areas, a high wind warning out further east is something to keep in mind of, especially if you're traveling west to east. And temperatures, they're going to fall early to the day to the 40s, so we're not going to see much improvement in what we've had this morning to speak of. So looking ahead, here's the condition that we expected for the showers activity going on for Madison, and then La Crosse. More northeast winds because they'll be on the backside of it, so showers off and on, 40 degrees too. And I'll break down when these winds will subside and if we'll see any warmer conditions later this week.
All right, Greg, keeping us informed. Thank you very much. Well, more than a dozen possible tornadoes were reported in Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas last night as severe weather moved through the region. The storm sent families scrambling for shelter and damaged or destroyed homes in several communities. Across the state line in southeast Oklahoma, a church was flattened to the ground. Other structures were also torn apart, and county officials confirmed at least 1 death. In Hopkins County, Texas, multiple homes were damaged. Jason Allen with CBS Dallas was there on the ground.
Tornado picked that house up, and it moved it, and it redeposited it over here, a good 50 to 75 feet away.
Churches have opened their doors as shelters for families. One county in Texas has declared a disaster. That's the first step to getting help from the federal government. In international news this morning, North Korea fired 4 short-range ballistic missiles into the Western Sea earlier this morning. That's according to the South Korean military. North Korea has launched a series of missiles this week, including a possible failed intercontinental ballistic missile, drawing condemnation from Washington, Seoul, and Tokyo. The missile launches raised speculation North Korea could be readying for the resumption of nuclear testing for the first time since 2017. Basketball player Kyrie Irving and rapper Kanye West have both made the news for making anti-Semitic comments. It's not just celebrities drawing attention for their words and actions. Locally, we saw anti-Semitic chalk writings on UW's campus, and last weekend, a man wearing a Hitler costume for Halloween. Madison police have since said the man in the Hitler costume has a cognitive impairment. He told investigators he thought he was mocking the Nazi leader. Alan Klugman with the Jewish Federation of Madison says all the events at this specific time of year are disappointing for this community.
I think, unfortunately, some of it may have to do with this being an election season. And I think, unfortunately, there are some people who are using fear to win votes. And that's regrettable.
The man wearing the Hitler costume was fired from his job at the Madison Children's Museum. Kyrie Irving has since apologized, saying he now recognizes the negative impact of my post towards the Jewish community. And Kanye West has lost billions of dollars in different business partnerships. When Bart and Krista Halderson disappeared in July of 2021, it stunned Windsor and all of southern Wisconsin. It's the focus of tonight's 48 Hours. 48 Hours correspondent Aaron Moriarty investigates how a clue on the social media app Snapchat would lead to a gruesome discovery.
This is doorbell camera footage of 23-year-old Chandler Halderson going house to house, asking if anyone had seen or heard from his parents.
It's kind of difficult to track him down.
Chandler told police his mom and dad, Bart and Krista, had gone to the family cabin in northern Wisconsin for the July 4th holiday weekend and never returned. Sheriff's detectives Brian Shunk and Sabrina Sims visited the Halderson home. So when you first got there, who was home?
It was just Chandler.
Chandler was a college student telling friends he had landed a job with Elon Musk's company, SpaceX.
We're walking around the house with him. He's pointing out things at the house, things that were missing that his parents took when they traveled to the cabin.
Deputies headed to the family cabin, a 3-hour drive north.
Sheriff's office, anybody inside? Announce your presence, make yourselves known.
But there were no signs of Krista and Bart. And then detectives got a break. Turns out that Chandler's girlfriend had been tracking her boyfriend's location on the social media app Snapchat during the time his parents were missing. And she spotted Chandler, whom she called hubby, at a remote location near the Wisconsin River.
It's a huge piece of evidence that we had found.
The Snapchat Clue edition of 48 Hours airs tonight at 9 o'clock. Erin talked about her story with our own Mark Kane and Susan Simon, and they asked, what is Snapchat and why was the girlfriend tracking Chandler Halderson?
Well, Snapchat is a cell phone app that allows someone to message another person and keep tabs on where that person is, if that person allows it. And in this case, Chandler's girlfriend had asked that she be able to track him because he had gone out with other girls and she didn't totally trust him. And so on the weekend that his parents disappeared, she was tracking him, messaging back and forth, and she noticed that he was in a place she wasn't expecting, the Wisconsin River. So she took a screenshot of that. I don't think that Chandler's girlfriend really had any idea the value of that, but when the police asked whether they could download the data on that phone, they did realize there was value to that.
Why was this simple screenshot so crucial to the case?
Well, I mean, as everyone knows, in Madison, this couple seemed to vanish in midair, you know, it's in thin air. It's this couple, they left their cars in the garage. They weren't answering the phone. It was going straight to voicemail. No one had seen the couple leave except for their youngest son, Chandler. The police didn't have much to go on at all until they saw this screenshot. Because if you can't trace the missing people, the most likely thing to do then is trace the movements of the last person to see the couple alive, and that was their son. And it turned out that this was a game changer, and that screenshot really did change the case.
You can watch tonight's episode of 48 Hours featuring the case right here on WISC at 9 p.m. We'll still ahead this morning, a deep dive into all things Badgers in this week's Badgers Blueprint.
Did you know Tim Michaels pledged to rig future elections?
Republicans will never lose another election in Wisconsin after I'm elected governor.
He'll try to overthrow the will of the people. Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as governor?
Remember this? Forecasts are predicting an unreasonably cold and snowy winter. Now's the time to winterproof your home with USA Insulation. 35% more efficient than traditional insulation. Our foam in your walls keeps the cold air out and your warm air in. It's like putting a coat around your entire home.
Call now before winter and get a $500 early bird discount.
USA Insulation.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first call, to your first sip, to your first soak. Culligan, give us a tap. The only water that comes with a van.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. Call today for free information.
Call 800-550-5543.
What's the matter, hon?
There's nothing to do.
You should check out Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home with a 95% average payout.
And with so many slot machines, there's a game for every kind of player.
They're right, honey. And with new promotions and reward club perks all the time, there are more ways to win than ever before. Find your fun and visit Ho Chunk Gaming Madison today.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Now, what is happening?
There will always be bumps in the road, but we got guts, America. We got freedom. We got power. We got future. So let's drive on and make the future we want to see together. Because your new Ford vehicle is just the start of a journey. So stop by your Ford dealer today and claim one of the thousands of new Ford trucks and SUVs on their way. We've been building this country for 119 years, but we're just getting started.
Did you know Tim Michaels wants to criminalize abortion, even for pregnant rape victims?
But are you willing to support exceptions for rape or incest?
That's correct. Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as your governor?
As Campaign 2022 approaches the finish line, News 3 Now presents a special midterm election preview.
We're spotlighting key races and issues, fact-checking candidates, and hearing the voices of voters in battleground Wisconsin.
Tonight at 7 on News 3 Now. Before you cast your vote on Tuesday, log on to channel3000.com for comprehensive information on voting, candidate reality checks, and what's on the ballot. Get the facts and information you need before you head to the polls. News 3 Now, your election headquarters.
Yeah, we got kind of a complex system going on right now. A cold front's actually lifted north through Illinois, so areas of south central, southeastern Wisconsin will deal more with wind. As you see, the wind barbs there becoming red, strong winds. Further west, La Crosse really is seeing the area kind of expand with rain, light to moderate rain on the backside. So those areas more for the rainfall for this afternoon. They'll all start to see that. You can see the wind starting to pick up to the south. That's just the beginning of it. There's stronger winds in northern Illinois. Radar, you can still see there's your showers really expanding to the west. Spotty in nature as you go towards Madison east, but that cold front will come through. You can see as we look at futurecast, it'll swing through about 10 a.m. with a line of showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and then we see some wraparound showers come in later this afternoon, more spotty. So overall, that won't be the bigger deal, it'll be the winds. So La Crosse, like I said, on and off rain right now. They'll become more spotty this afternoon. La Crosse, similar, Madison, off and off rain, but the winds will be the more story, and everything should die down. Winds and rain come this afternoon or evening.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. We'll check back in just a little bit. Well, the Badgers return to action today after having last week off. They take on the Maryland Terps at Camp Randall. To get you ready for the game, here's Sports Director Zach Hanley with the Badger Blueprint.
Whenever you're in the season, you know, like you just wonder, dang, when I'm gonna get a break, when can I rest a little bit? And all of a sudden you get some time to rest, and it's like, what am I gonna do now?
The Badgers did find some things to do. Keanu Benton went fishing for walleye. Chimray DK dressed up for Halloween, and Jake Chaney went to an apple orchard for the first time in his life. But in terms of football, there wasn't a game to prepare for, just rest and relaxation. And it was good for this group. The bye week helped UW get some guys back and re-energize them as they prepare for their stretch run.
Really fun seeing those guys get back out there, and even today just in a walkthrough, you got 4 or 5 guys back that are healthy, that are excited. So it kind of brings like a new energy to the group.
That just helps with our depth. There's been guys bumps and bruises, got out of the game and couldn't play, so this bye week definitely helped us.
Hunter Wollner is expected to play. Hayden Rucci is trending in that direction. Nick Herbig got another week off his feet. You couldn't have asked for much more health-wise for the Badgers, and they really seem to be energized on Monday.
And they'll need to be. They'll need to be healthy and energized down the stretch. This is an important stretch run, not only for these players to end the season on the right note, but for Jim Leonhard in his quest to get the full-time head coaching job. So I think that was important. I thought the most important injury update was Hunter Wohler. They've really missed him in that back end. He's a potential difference maker at safety, and I think he can add something big down the stretch.
Heading into the bye week, Wisconsin was feeling pretty good about themselves. They just dominated Purdue and put their best performance of the season on tape. But then they had a week off. So the message from Jim Leonhard on Monday, urgency. They have to be ready to go from the start, because if they're not, everything they did right against Purdue will be forgotten.
Sometimes when you come off a bye, you have to be careful of walking through the beginning part of the week and just feeling good about yourself. Like, we're going to push these guys to snap back into it.
Your kind of vacation's over type deal. You know, you had that time to regroup, you had the time to get your legs back underneath you, but you got to get back to work, and you got to get prepared for Maryland. And I think that all the guys received the message.
I don't think they'll have a problem with that, and it kind of goes back to getting guys back. There's more juice in the room because they're excited to be back.
Absolutely. The one thing I like that Jim Leonhard is doing is I think he's drawing from his days as a player. He knows how bye weeks work, and he's probably seen it in the past where his teammates or maybe even himself early in the week just hasn't snapped back into the right frame of mind. So I think he's applying that to this week and this team. The other thing that's weird about this week is that Maryland's coming off a bye too, and they've won 2 straight. So you're not catching a team that's tired.
And still to come on the Badger Blueprint, the plan for the future. Jim Leonhard laid out his vision for the program to the team. Their reaction after the break.
Well, you heard Zach. When we get back, we got more Badgers news ahead of today's game. And you're taking a live look over downtown La Crosse. Greg is tracking the rain chances when we get back.
This portion of News 3 Now is sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Warrens, Wisconsin.
It's the Hy-Vee Red Hot Weekend Sale this Friday through Sunday. Pepsi 6-packs, only $2.75 each when you buy 4. Whole pork loin, only $1.98 a pound. And Yoplait, 10 for only $3. Scan the code, get deals, only at Hy-Vee.
He pushed tax loopholes benefiting himself. Send him back, and he'll make things worse. Ron Johnson would let Wisconsin ban abortion, even in cases of rape, and said if you don't like it, you can move. He voted to raise the retirement age and wants to end guaranteed spending on the Social Security you earned.
Social Security is a legal Ponzi scheme, but that's exactly what it is.
Ron Johnson, still making it harder on us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Not attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now.
Call 1-800-336-0524.
Why do dermatologists worldwide recommend La Roche-Posay? Effective skincare like La Roche-Posay Double Repair Face Moisturizer delivers double action to help repair skin's barrier and provide 48-hour hydration for healthy-looking skin. La Roche-Posay.
It's the Hy-Vee Red Hot Weekend Sale this Friday through Sunday. A 10-pound roll of ground beef, only $2.49 a pound. Post cereal, 3 for only $5. And a 5-pack of Kraft macaroni and cheese, only $2.99. Scan the code, get deals, only at Hy-Vee.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Yeah, once we get past the system for today, we're actually going to have mild conditions return, really, because the jet stream's more going from the west, the cold air is still locked to the north. And in fact, we're actually going to see mild conditions return as we have another system that basically digs to the west, pulls up that southwest wind. So we'll actually see temperatures warm up this week until finally we kind of return back. Really, some cold air will start pushing in towards Veterans Day and next weekend. So we'll kind of return to where we should be more in this time of November. In the meantime, we still got that low pushing to the northeast along with the front. It's going to quickly lift to the north. So once the showers end this afternoon, it's really going to be the wind that's going to be the story through this evening. And as that lifts north, we have another system. Week one, that'll spread some cloud cover. The shower activity, that'll stay north, well north of La Crosse, but that'll be the system through tonight and tomorrow, keeping us breezy, but overall still mild. We're not going to see any of the real cold air till later in the week. So as we're going through Monday, the start of the work week, still good conditions overall. We're going to see just westerly winds and light good conditions. So this morning we have that system lifting to the north. The front's going to come through before noon. The showers with the bands will push well to the north. Then we'll have that wraparound, as you saw, come push northeast. So we'll have a few showers, mainly western areas up to the north. South central, southeastern, more we'll see less showers this afternoon. Those will be dealing with the wind. Overall temperatures, you saw, we've kind of fall in the afternoon. We're not really going to do much other than fall since we're around the 50s right now. We'll get into the 40s by this afternoon and evening. Overnight, we'll drop back into the 30s. Cloud cover will push back in, but overall lighter winds tonight and then tomorrow. Like I said, overall some cloud cover, speak up, breezy conditions, but generally not bad for the first week of November. We'll get back into the 50s for most locations, which still is above average for this time of year. And then we go into Monday, it'll actually be even a little bit cooler. But you have precipitation. That's where it's going to be focused with that kind of that band, that wraparound that's sitting there. Much less you go further east. East is going to be really where the winds are going to be the issue. As you can see, 45 to 50 plus gusts potentially towards Milwaukee. That will push up to the north and subside as we get closer to the end of the day. Overall, tomorrow, a little bit, like I said, 55, a little bit cooler behind this little front on Monday, but overall we should go back up to the mid to upper 60s for both locations when we get to Wednesday with that cold front coming through by the end of the week.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Well, we left off the Badger Blueprint with an eye on the program's future. Here's Zach with more.
Besides recruiting during the off week, Leonard shared his vision for the future of the program with the team. From nutrition to recovery to academics, the off season, he had a plan for everything. And it's safe to say the Badgers are on board.
He wants this program to be the best that it can be, and he's willing to do whatever to make that happen. He wants the best for us as players, and he wants the best for this university and this program. And I think that he has the right plan.
I know I'm capable of it. I would be excited for the opportunity, and it's fun to get the chance to really affect some change this season and see what we can get done.
Mert said he's ready for it. Herbig said he liked what he heard. The players want it for him. Leonard wants it. Not surprised that A, he had a plan, and B, the plan is about the culture, the standard, and the players at Wisconsin.
I thought it was a really interesting news conference from Jim Leonard on Monday. He clearly has given a lot of thought and put a lot of thought into this, next step in his journey. And I really thought he made a case for himself. I don't know that he necessarily went into that news conference wanting to do that, but he did. He laid it out on the line and what he could do for this program, the different things he wants to do and see. I thought it was a really impressive message from him.
Saturday marks the 4th meeting all-time between Wisconsin and Maryland, and this Terps team is way better than those other 3. Maryland enters Madison 6-2, and their offense is explosive. Led by Tolia Tagovailoa, the Terps are 3rd in the Big Ten in scoring and passing. They're fast, skilled, and the Badgers know their scheme isn't anything crazy. They just execute it well.
They're simple. They have a simple plan, but, are you going to tackle those guys out in space, or are you going to be in the right gap every time? They have a simple attack, but they have athletes. They have really good athletes, so we're going to have to bring our A game.
Tagovailoa is expected to be back. When he's in there, Jim, Maryland is a different team on offense. Yeah, absolutely. I watched them play against Michigan earlier in the year, and just a really explosive offense, and I thought defensively they were better than I thought they'd be. This is a team that's hovering around that 3rd or 4th spot in the East, which is a very tough division. It's going to be a challenge for this Wisconsin defense. Badgers 5.5-point favorites. How do you see Saturday playing out?
Yeah, very difficult game for Wisconsin, but I do think they're going to win. I like the fact that they're coming off the bye week, the urgency that we talked about, the fact that there's still a lot to play for, especially Jim Leonhard's coaching future. Wisconsin 27, Maryland 23.
I was wrong about Illinois, wrong about Michigan State, and wrong about Purdue, but I think my luck's coming around. Badgers are healthy, and that's big for this team. I think Wisconsin wins by 13. And that's it for this week's Badger Blueprint. Thanks for watching.
All right, our thanks to Zach Hanley for putting that together. Badgers kick off at 11 a.m. Coming up next, you still have a chance to win the Powerball. We'll talk about that when we get back.
Breaking news in Dallas, Texas, where at least 5 police officers were killed when they were ambushed.
This was the deadliest day for U.S. law enforcement since 9/11.
Just days after this horrific crime, Mandela Barnes appeared on Vladimir Putin's propaganda news outlet and rationalized violence against American police officers.
Police officers are over-exercising their badges. This probably was a retaliatory attack.
Do you want Mandela Barnes representing you in the Senate?
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal, come have a taste of Wisconsin.
America's Dairyland, as in real dairy.
It gives Culver's fresh frozen custard its famous rich and creamy flavor.
Like really rich.
So rich.
Rich and creamy.
And our cook-to-order Butterburgers?
They're topped with, you guessed it,
Wisconsin cheese.
But it's the smiles we put on your face with every meal made just for you.
It really makes our hearts melt.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Nice.
Oh, great. My wireless bill just went up.
Should have gone with US Cellular. They aren't raising prices on any of their plans.
Seriously?
Yeah, my price won't increase.
Well, that is refreshing. I feel like everywhere you turn these days, prices are going up.
Supply chain got us too. Don't get me started on the overhead cost.
At US Cellular, every plan for everyone is price protected.
You know, I respect a female entrepreneur.
US Cellular, where every plan is price protected.
When the hands that do the fixing need fixing. When the hands that do the caring need caring. That's a job for O'Keeffe's Working Hands. It's America's #1 selling hand cream and guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands. Also available in O'Keeffe's for healthy feet.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife, Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
Our secret? At SelectQuote, we aggressively comparison shop up to 10 highly rated companies to find you the company with the best rates. Why pay more? Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
It was Halloween. My daughter stopped at 3 homes, her girlfriend's house, her teacher's house, and the man that murdered her. He molested her and he put her in a garbage bag. He was going to be released in 2018. Josh called. He was not there for me at all. You want some help to find out what's going on, and he doesn't help. He don't care about the victims. I know Eric Toney does. Eric Toney helped keep that man that murdered my daughter from being released. Eric Toney's always been there for me, and that's the kind of attorney general we need.
A new place to help kids and parents keep calm. Monday at 10.
Finally this morning, don't forget to go out and buy a lottery ticket because the next drawing is today. The Powerball jackpot, now the world's largest lottery prize ever offered. With no winner over the last 3 months, it's grown to $1.6 billion. That winner can opt for a gradual payment over 29 years or a lump sum of more than $782 million. Greg's already got his ticket. Yep. I'm going to go get mine after this. Maybe we're here tomorrow morning. Maybe we're not. Regardless, though, how about a quick check of the weather?
Just make sure you hold on to it when you walk outside because it might blow away because you won't see it. So the winds are already picking up in Madison. I know we're in the 30s gusting, so that's going to be the big story for a lot of the areas. La Crosse is more for the rain this morning. That'll taper off this afternoon. But then we'll see showers dry tomorrow, steady temperatures today falling, and then mild through Wednesday. It actually doesn't look to be a bad week for temperature-wise.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Don't forget to set your clocks back, folks. We'll see you here tomorrow. Thanks.